A group of Rochester women have been serving the community for decades with a focus on youth, health initiatives, and a special effort to prepare young women to become leaders. We're joined by Dr. Christine Richards, president of the Delta Nu Omega chapter of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, and Dr. Danielle Alcina, president of the Rochester 20 Pearls Foundation. Thanks for coming in, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Christine, tell us about Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is the first Black Greek letter founded organization for and by college-trained women. We date back to 1908, founded on the campus of Howard University, and we now expand to over 260,000 plus women worldwide.
Wow.
986 chapters within the 50 states, countries such as Japan, Liberia, South Africa. So we have a wide expansion of our sisterhood.
Right. Wow. I didn't know it was that big. And what is the 20 Pearls Foundation? What does that do?
So it's the charitable arm for our local chapter of the sorority. It's a 501c3, so we do have non-for-profit benefits, and we do a lot of scholarship giving in our local community in addition to other types of community efforts. We provide funding and donations to local charities as well.
And Christine, what are some of the services and programs that are available in Rochester?
Well, locally, internationally, we have 5 target areas, and they include educational enrichment, health promotion, family strengthening, global impact, and environmental ownership. And what we do here locally is we take those programs and bring them to a local level. So we have an Ascend program that actually is just beginning for high school students in grades 9 through 12. That'll provide them with different college-trained courses, civic engagement, educational enrichment. And we take those international targets and bring them to a local level to provide and give back to our community. So we do such things under health promotion as the Heart Walk, or we have the Help the Kidney Foundation. So we look at mental health. So we look at it on the local level from a global perspective and how we can actually enrich our Rochester community.
And you have a very active local chapter. And diverse. What are some of the backgrounds of the women that are in the chapter?
Oh, we have a very diverse background of women in our chapter. We have from educators to business women to entrepreneurs to we've had lawyers, we have international fundraising personnel in our chapter, and it spans over almost 60 women through the Rochester local chapter. So the backgrounds and the wealth of knowledge is great here in the Rochester community, and we try to use that to engage our programs as much as possible.
Right. And Danielle, you just wrapped up one of your signature events. Tell us about that.
Yes, so we actually had our 2015 Rose Cotillion. It's a formal coming out into society for young ladies in the Rochester community. And traditionally, that's what a cotillion does. It teaches young ladies how to be women of their community. It teaches them social graces, etiquette, and skills that they need to learn about having high self-esteem and carrying themselves in public. So we were fortunate to be able to have 8 young ladies that have become our debutantes, and this past Saturday we had our Rose Cotillion Ball at Eagle Vale Golf Course, and it was a lovely event.
Tell us about some of the girls that participated.
So we had 8, and they span different types of communities, so they are in different suburbs and different parts of the city of Rochester, so the greater Rochester area. And they came in as beautiful jewels, and we refined them through different activities. We did service programs with them, so they did community service. We taught them how to do etiquette, so they learned how to communicate with people. They learned about health promotion. They learned about how to take care of themselves. And they also learned some things about themselves as far as growth and coming into womanhood. We also cultured them by taking them on an excursion to Washington, D.C., letting them see some of the sights in our national mall and understand the greatness that this country has to offer. And so they can be contributors to our local community and understanding things in a broader perspective as well.
What has some of the feedback been, either from the girls or their parents, throughout this whole experience?
I think most of them have just been very fortunate, and they've been very appreciative to learn so much and to be able to be exposed to so many new things. Many of them had never had waltz lessons before, but we did give them a series.
I haven't either.
Surprisingly, some people have not. It's just not something that we do that much these days. But it's something that a young lady should know, depending on what she plans to do in the future. It's a nice thing to have in the background, to be able to say, I can professionally dance at a formal event. If you're invited to the White House or something of that nature, you never know.
You never know.
You never know. But they have been allowed to do things like that, and they were very excited. They were a little bit hesitant at first, as you can imagine. We had lessons with their fathers and with their male escorts. And their fathers dancing with their daughters, it was just so delightful to see that transition. And then as the escorts came in and danced with them as well, it was just nice to be able to see that young men holding themselves at such a high standard for these young ladies as they were maturing through this process. It was very nice to watch.
Christine, why do you think this is so important for Rochester?
I believe that cultivating our young people is very important, getting them to see that they are the leaders. We always use that term, you're our future leaders, but actually putting them in programs and training them and educating them to see their potential and to use that leadership, I think is very important. And they did certain projects that they, had to do on their own, whether it was a PowerPoint presentation on certain subjects, coming up with a plan of action as far as their future, whether it be college or vocationally led. So I think giving them that opportunity to expand and see what is it that I really have a talent in, what is it I really have an interest in, is extremely important. And understanding, okay, I didn't really think I was going to like so-and-so that much, but I actually like being able to sit with someone else and working on a project together on a topic that maybe I wasn't familiar with, but by the time I learned about it, it's now a new interest of mine. So I think for our young people, that's very important in getting them to see their potential for their future.
Sure. Is there a particular success story that you can share, or maybe your own story?
Very interesting. My daughter actually was part of the debutante cotillion. The 8 girls we had this year made up two sophomores, 4 juniors, and 2 seniors.
Okay.
So we had a wide range of ages for the girls, which was wonderful to see them, some who knew each other, some who didn't, to get to know each other, to learn different things about themselves as well as others, but to form that kind of sisterly bond. So it was so interesting. One of the things my daughter said to me after was they had already sent a text to each other, "Oh, I miss you already." So, just to know that they formed that friendship and they have something that they are connected to one another with from now until for a lifetime is wonderful. Really
what other community events do you host throughout the year?
We have an annual event called A Taste of Jazz and More. We hold it each year at the Rochester Convention Side, the Rochester Riverside Convention Center, I'm sorry. And it's held usually in September. This year it's going to be September 26th. It's usually on a Saturday. And that's our main event that we try to pull as much money as we can for raising funds for our local scholarships. So we do that annually. And that's just something that we really try to push in the community. And that's an adult-only event. It's cocktail hour, formal attire. It's a really nice night out, date night, what have you. We also have other programs that are more family-friendly. Last year we held our first Salute to Everyday Hero, where we honored some local people within the community for their everyday works that make them extraordinary. And we wanted to honor those people to let them know that we are watching. And there are a lot of us people that we might not think of ourselves as heroes, but teachers, firefighters, pastors, a lot of people in the community that have these types of prominent roles that make a difference in lives every single day. We wanted to make sure that we constantly refresh that knowledge in our community. And we do some other things throughout the year. We co-sponsor a lot of events that the sorority holds. So we are the charitable arm. So we kind of hold on to the purse strings and try to make sure that we can pull in money for a lot of community donations. And our main focus is the scholarship fund. But we want to help out with the local chapter in whatever way we can to make sure that we're constantly doing things to give back to our community. And we've found lots of different types of partnerships to do that.
What are some of the reactions from community members that hear about the work that's being done, the events that are being held?
Oh, wonderful. And we often find ourselves looking for organizations to partner with, because one of the things with Rochester community is we have a wealth of knowledge and programs that take place. So instead of trying to recreate the wheel, why not partner with something that's taking place and make it even greater? So we definitely look for partnerships. Our current partnerships we have with organizations, it's a wonderful relationship, and we keep those going. And again, as I said, welcoming new partnerships and looking to better the community to the best of our ability. We have to get our children to understand the importance of giving back to the community and getting them involved as much as possible. And that really is a main focus. Our international focus for youth is strong. Our international president really wants to focus on building up our youth, whether it's from ages 9 to 22 with various programs such as the Ascend program, as I was speaking about earlier, for high school students.
Okay.
Or we have a program, think HBCU, focusing on, historically black colleges and universities and getting our youth to see the importance of those. 1908, playgrounds, which is helping restore playgrounds within the city of Rochester, which is a partnership we're getting ready to launch. So there are a lot of things we want to make sure that our youth understand. Building your own community has to be first. This is where you call home. This is where you live and you play and your parents work every day. So look at the importance of what you have and build from it.
Now, if there's someone out there that is interested in joining the chapter, what are the requirements? What do they need to do?
Well, the membership part of the organization actually can be found at our international website, which would be aka1908.com, and it gives you information regarding the membership and what it would need to take place. So I would always direct people to go to that website to get that information. And if you would look for any local information, you can always email us at our email address, which would be deltanomega@yahoo.com.
Okay, now finally, and for either of you, where do you see the chapter, the foundation, 5 years from now?
Well, the foundation arm, we hope to continuously be supporting any effort that the chapter itself would have in the community. But we are hoping that we can boost our contributions through intaking more donations within the community, and also repurposing that money throughout the community too, and distributing it so we can help and impact more lives. We do really want to make a difference with our scholarship fund, so we are looking for new types of partnerships and new types of sponsorships to help us contribute more for more students to be able to go to college without the financial burden that often happens.
The chapter, 5 years from now, continuing to grow, continuing to flourish, providing even more community programs for the greater Rochester community and expanding as much as we can. We want to make sure that we leave a long-lasting impact on the Rochester community.
Wonderful, and you're doing a great job. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
If you'd like more information about Delta Nu Omega or the 20 Pearls Foundation, you can send an email to the address on your screen, trtpfboard@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us on this edition of CityWise. I'm Tiana Stevens, and we'll see you next week. The views and opinions expressed by guests appearing on CityWise do not necessarily reflect those of the host, WXXI staff, or any entity of or affiliated with the City of Rochester. If you have questions, comments, or program suggestions, contact CityWise at 311 or 428-1201 or send us an email at citywise@cityofrochester.gov.